you who don't know that I'm a clergyman in this parish, and this is my parish church here. I operate here in St. Joseph's, but I also have St. Mary's in Willinow. And so my Sundays are really busy. And so I usually say I have 3 jobs. I have this one as a clergy. I work as an emergency practitioner in A&E, and I have a family to run.
Exactly.
Which sometimes is a tedious thing to actually handle. But today is not. Today is more about what my family feels so passionate about. And if I'm being honest, Vicky is one type of a woman that what she wants to get. And sometimes it's easier for me to shut up and follow than to argue. Because I will argue and get angry and then still follow. So, from an earlier time, she hasn't just started now. We knew each other pre-nursery. That means we grew up in the same area like neighbors. And what she was explaining earlier about the mother is an understatement. In those years in Kumbu, those who know about the locusts of 1982 in Cameroon,
Yes.
the locust that actually dealt away with every single green pasture that you could find in the whole of Northwest.
Yes.
And when the locust actually went up in the sky, you could not see the sunlight. It looked dark. That's how massive they were. And when they land on the ground, everything green disappeared. That's how massive it was. We were still young. And we were talking, I was in primary school at the time. But that's how the locusts were. So the famine that followed after, you can imagine, the crops had already been planted and the crops had started growing. And this is how the locusts dealt with it. With that frustration in the whole of the Northwest province, what then happened was most tribes were looking for a culprit. And Vicky's mother was accused of going for witchcraft to search for money. But when she didn't get the money, she got the locust to eat the crops.
Ouch.
And that was something that was so hard for everybody to take. To an extent that if they found her walking down the street, some people will be running away so that she doesn't look at you and wish you bad luck. And I found it hard. Everybody else found it hard. And if I were being honest, the information that went around us was one way you could not even walk around with Vicky. And what was happening was they had very good oranges in their compound. And even the oranges will fall down. Children used to go out and harvest oranges from everywhere. But their own oranges will grow wild and fall and nobody will pick it up. Nobody will pick oranges from their orange trees because they were oranges from a witch. But I developed a liking for the oranges because I knew. Each time I went there, my oranges were secured. Each time I went there, my oranges were secured. And me and my brothers, we went there all the time. My parents, we went there all the time. And growing up in that atmosphere, it was an atmosphere that not even the educated were not even convinced that she wasn't a witch. She didn't say much about it. But those of us around her, we felt much about it. In a sense that we associated with her out of pity, not because we were friends. And because our parents were going there, they insisted that we go. But we went with them out of pity to feel like we go to church, and when they come into the bench, people move from the bench.
Ouch.
But you look at them and you are thinking, they're also still people. And the whole situation went on and on for a long time. In primary school where she was studying, she didn't say that. Her and her sister were in secondary school, primary school. And they were asked to leave the school. They were dismissed from primary school, not because of any crime, but because they were making other children feel uncomfortable in class with their presence. And they had to leave the primary school where they were, and they had to trek every morning for 5 miles to go to a different village and go to school. And in the local area in Kumbu, there was nobody that grew up at that time that did not know Vicky's mom. That's how bad it was. The whole town and the neighboring towns knew the name.
They had songs.
In the songs, in traditional songs in the village, they will sing songs, and the songs will be anybody that has not heard. Anybody that has not heard.
That Rosa Verla.
That Rosa Verla is the witch that had taken away, brought the locust. Go to Kian. If you haven't seen the witch that brought the locust, go to Kian. And they will dance. Up to now, those who grew up at that time, when you actually go to some communities here in the UK,
they sang it in Coventry.
And they start singing their local songs. When some people start singing their local songs, it is very likely that when they are singing and drumming, that somebody will stand up and tune one of them, because even now in Kumbu they still sing them. But they don't know who. Those that are singing them have sung them because they heard people singing them. And even when we went to Coventry and somebody started singing, she burst into tears. But it was only later that that lady got told, do you know the lady you are talking about in Kian? That's the mother of Vicky. And it was only then that she came to Vicky and tried to retrieve it, but she's singing what she heard being sung. I'm just trying to show you how much of an impact the whole situation was. And we grew up then in that way, but we were together in the same youth group in school. And when we went to secondary school, we were together in the same youth group. But growing up as neighbors, my dad trusted her, not her sisters actually. My dad trusted her, didn't trust us that much. But the best way to actually go out clubbing was to say that Vicky was going. And if I said Vicky was going, me and my brother said Vicky was going out clubbing with us, my dad would say they will come back on time. They will not be up to any mischief. And then we will go. But he didn't know that Vicky never went to any clubbing. When we left, we would take Vicky to her auntie, because she would refuse to go into the nightclub. So we'll take her to her auntie, and then we'll go clubbing. When we're coming back, we'll pick her up. But without her, we will not be granted entry. Without her, me and my brother will not be granted entry. But that's how we grew up, in that atmosphere, where it ended up with us, all of us being even looked at in a different way. But we were that close a family that nobody could have thought we were not relatives. I wasn't the one that told my dad I was getting married.
I was the one.
I didn't tell my dad I was getting married. Vicky went and told my dad I was getting married. And some people found it strange, but they were more close than I was with my dad up to now. They can talk forever because they were that close together. They can talk forever. And all I get is, if I get the phone being passed over to me, someone is broke. If the phone is being passed to me, I'm being told off. Or the phone is being passed to me, I'm being told about a decision that has been made, not for me to confirm, but to back it. And it's not about a discussion. And that's the relationship that we've had over the years. And that's how close the family has been. And so, growing up, we ended up in a situation where Vicky and the rest of our family, though really struggling, but we shared a lot in common. I'm one of those people in Cameroon who I was very lucky in terms of, with other children, people struggling to pay their school fees or people struggling to go to school. I was very lucky in a way that my dad never used to argue with school fees. My dad, you had to bring the book list, and you tell him how much your fees was, you bring the book list, whatever thing you've asked, he wants only the total. When you ask, he gives you the total. When you tell him about the total, he hands you all the money that you have asked, to the last penny. He has everything to you, including your money for your uniform and everything. He hands it to you. Then he will ask for a bottle of beer for himself and his friends. He say, now I've given you all that you've asked. Can I have a bottle of beer? And can my friends have a bottle of beer? When you say, but Dad, you gave it for school fees. He said, I wasn't born yesterday, I wasn't born today. There is no student that will give you a book list without an allowance. Can I share of it? And that's how we grow. But when Vicky's mom passed away, I was writing my GCE, 1993. I was writing my GCE at the time. And I remember her last words to me when I went to see her. I did not actually go to visit. I went to steal oranges. And she got me while I was there. And the words that she said, she turned around and said to me, because I used to go and spend nights there, because Vicky was in a boarding school. And I used to go and spend nights with Mom. A lot of people would turn around to me and say, how do you sleep at night? Are you not scared? You go and stay in the same house with the witch, are you not scared? And I turned around, when I looked at that woman's eye, I didn't see a witch. I don't know how they look like, but if you call somebody a witch, you must be wanting to know where they live.
Exactly.
And she was the most caring person and the most forgiving person that you can ever imagine. Vicky used to fight back, and Vicky's sister was a good fighter, to say something back. You would say it to her, she turned around and said to you, God bless you, and she walks away. People that actually grabbed her and threw her in the grave alive, when she got out, she knew who they were. But when they are passing, she still greet them as God bless you. And they will not even answer. But she walked up. She had asthma. And she'll go into the hospital and the nurses will have a problem. Some stupid nurses will have a problem associating because it's a witch that's turned up at the hospital. And they're worried about the doctor ending up admitting her in hospital because they don't know what will happen at night. And that was that woman's life. And then she started detesting to even go into hospital to avoid making people uncomfortable. Then she started asking the priest whether there was a chance she could have prayers in her house than to go to church. Not because she did not want to go to church, but because she didn't want people to feel uncomfortable. Or she comes to church and she has to stand behind for fear that when she sits on a bench, nobody will want to sit there. And that was her lifestyle. That's how she passed away. She slept at night and didn't wake up in the morning. Her husband left in the middle of all that. But that's the life of the woman that we're talking about. And that's why when you actually mention in Kumbu, when you say Rosa Verla, you don't need to mention twice. They say Mami Ngumi, Mama Locust. That's how she's known in Kumbu. And so when you just say Rosa Verla, everybody understands is Mama Locust, Mama Ngumi. And so that's why the name makes so much of a difference to her. And if it was me putting that, I will add Mama Ngumi to the name. I'll add Mama Locust to the name. It was me putting it. But that was the woman, that's